What's up, comic and pop culture fans? This is James with Mint Hunter Comics, and we are going to decide an entire stack of comics which submission they are going to go under. We've got things like a typical 9.8 pre-screen, one that I'm going to do the custom label for, the good old-fashioned, just regular old press and grade, the ones that I feel need a little special attention and to be sent to a presser I trust, the vintage books prior to 1975, and a clean and press 9.8 pre-screen. And I will explain this one, early 80s press and pre-screen. Trust the process. So let's get to our sorting. We've got the original first print TMNT number 4 and 2. Now, frankly, I think these need the extra attention. So I'm going to take these down to send to my guy. Those two are going to go out to my presser. He'll do some work and get them tip-top as they can possibly be. Same thing with this number 3. And this is the second print, or maybe even the third print of number 1. I don't really care. It's all going to get graded, but I do want to have that all sent to my guy first. Now, we've got, I don't really know why I'm thinking about sending this. Maybe it's just because it's issue 32. It's not in immaculate condition, but it's just so cool that I want to get it graded. I don't think I'm going to get a huge return on investment here, but some books I just want to grade. I feel like I owe it to the book. I'm going to put this one on vintage and press. So that's a vintage book that's going to need to be pressed. Here might be a perfect candidate where I don't want to necessarily put it in a 9.8 pre-screen because I'd be okay with even down to like a 9.0 on this. So I do want to get it graded and pressed. We're going to put this in the press and grade pile. That's the most typical submission that you'll do. But I will explain a little bit further because I don't like mixing and matching. This Vengeance of Bane, first appearance of Bane, it looks really great, but there are a couple things that I think might need to go to my guy. This is a guy that I think is going to do a better job than I will, frankly, pressing. Looks like we got another vintage. This Action Comics 251 includes an ad for the first appearance of Supergirl. I think that's cool enough to get it over here. It doesn't have a crazy value, but sometimes I like submitting for fun. This hobby's supposed to be fun, so there you go. This one's just going to be another one of those grade and press. So we're going to march it over here to a press and grade, even though it could be an option for this. It is that clean that I would want to put it in a 9.8 pre-screen. Speaking of 9.8 pre-screen, we've got one here. Green Lantern 91. Admittedly, I already have a 9.8. This might even be one of the 9.8s I have 2 of. Whatever. Since I don't need it super bad, I'm going to put it in the 9.8 pre-screen pile. I don't need a 9.6, so I 9.8 or net on that. This one is going to be another candidate, first Cap Wolf. We're going to march that and put it over right here under 9.8 pre-screen. This is called the PP pile, meaning it's perfect as is. I don't need to clean, I don't need to press, and sometimes that happens. Sometimes that happens kind of a lot, actually. Doctor Strange 48, first meeting of Doctor Strange and Brother Voodoo, first appearance of Morgana Blessing. This is also going to go to press and grade. Next up, we've got one of 2 copies that I have, actually, of issue 85 of Green Lantern. It needs the extra special attention since it is a big, expensive book, so I'm going to put it under send to my guy. Now, this is a book that looks like a perfect 9.8, but I'd be okay with it getting a 9.4, 9.6, so I'm not going to put it in the pre-screen. I'm going to put it in press and grade. I wish they had a custom label that would fit that well. Otherwise, I'd be putting it under the custom label. Captain America 431, very underrated key. We're going to put that simply in the 9.8 pre-screen. 221 of Action Comics is the first Silver Age action comic book. So that's a cool small key significance, and we're going to put it in the vintage. All right, now check this out. We got Green Lantern 145, and we're going to have a bunch of these. These books from a separate collection that looks perfect. There's no spine ticks, there's no waviness, but that's only half the battle. It needs to be cleaned more than a press. So I'm keeping it as a very separate pile. I don't want this contaminating the regular pile. And it's going to go under clean and 9.8 pre-screen. James, why are you doing a 9.8 pre-screen? Wouldn't you be happy with a 9694? No, these are the missing Green Lantern books from my 9.8 collection. So I literally only need 9.8s of these. And I think that they might get 9.8s with off-white to white pages, and I'm okay with it. So that's another example run there. You're going to see a couple duplicates of those. That goes there as well. We've got Justice League of America issue number 7. Very cool cover. That's going to march its way down to vintage. I also have Showcase 74, one of my favorite runs. First appearance of Anthro is going to be in vintage as well. Next up, we have the first Power Rangers comic book, and it looks perfect to me, and I don't want to swing extra for the pressing. So we are just going to put it in the 9.8 pre-screen. If it doesn't get the 9.8, I'm okay with it. It still is valuable on its own. Then we have another one of these. Ironically, we have one over there, but I know that this is from a different collection. This one looks like a 9.4, and it needs a little extra love to maybe get it to a 9.8. I don't want to contaminate it with the other Green Lanterns, so that one's going to my guy. Same with this one. And here is the other Green Lantern 85 that he also is gonna get. All right, now we're moving on to Wolverine 88, first meeting of Wolverine and Deadpool. This one's gonna go under custom label. I'm gonna get the Wolverine custom label for this book, and I do need to get it pressed. We got the first Jim Lee interiors. I wish there was some sort of custom label that went with this, but we're just going to put it in a regular 9.8 pre-screen. This is a book that is so valuable that we're not going to put it in the 9.8 pre-screen. We're going to bring it down here to press and grade. First appearance of the Thunderbolts right there. Next up, we got another one of those Green Lanterns that need the cleaning. We have a vintage first appearance of Banshee. And yeah, maybe I want to send that to my guy, but I do want to watch my expenses, so I might just keep that in vintage and press. Okay, next, we have another vintage. This is a classic Batman Christmas cover. I thought it was in really nice shape. I don't normally submit stuff like this unless it's really nice. So we're going to put that in vintage. I've got another vintage, particularly nice shape. I always start my vintage piles with the nicest books on the top. So I'll probably reshuffle it around. We've got another Green Lantern from the same collection that look perfect in terms of no spine ticks, but they do need a clean. Now here we go. We're going to start a new pile. Early 80s press and pre-screen. That seems like a very strange thing when I have clearly a press and grade. So what's the difference? Well, I have noticed that I am weirdly more successful when I isolate my early 80s books as a press and pre-screen on their own. It's extremely bizarre, but it's just something I've noticed, and I have to go with it. Next up, we have the first appearance of Jon Stewart, and that definitely needs some extra attention. That's got to get the full treatment from my guy. That needs a clean, a press, everything. This one, another one of the Green Lanterns that just needs a clean. Now, the clean, I'm very confident with my abilities. I can do that myself. Action Comics 400, I just love the cover. I love this condition, so I thought we'd be popping that in the vintage. I have a Supergirl issue number 1. Going to march our way over here to vintage. We got a nice vintage pile going. I have what appears to be a perfect condition Batman with the rare DC Universe logo. So we're just going to pop that right in the pre-screen. There are no custom labels available for DC books. Then we have a pretty darn sharp, unfortunately not 9.8 sharp, but good enough. So we're going to put that over in press and grade. Then we have a particularly nice copy of Action Comics. I already looked at it. It doesn't really need a press, but it does need a nice deep cleaning. I'm not going to put it in this pile with the clean, so I'm just going to toss this one in on the pile called Send to My Guy, and he'll do a great pressing on that. Then I've got 2 copies of Spider-Man 2099. First comic accurate appearance of Spider-Man 2099. We're just going to put that in the custom label. I'm going to get the Spider-Man label for that one. Another DC Universe logo here. Again, there's no custom labels for these DC books, so this one's going to go in my regular 9.8 pre-screen. I don't want the 9.6 or the 9.4. It looks like we've got another one, Harley Quinn #1. Watch out for the value on that, guys. This copy looks perfect. I'm going to toss it in here. I would be okay with 9.6s and 9.4s of that, but we're gonna roll the dice on that one. Here I've got another one of the Green Lanterns that just needs a clean. And actually we've got a couple of them, it looks like. And here we've got a late 70s, early 80s gorgeous condition, which I want to isolate and keep together with my early 80s pile. So bizarre, but I know. We got another one. These are comics I thought was particularly sharp. Then we do have what I think is going to be a near mint plus Hellblazer #1, which is going to wind up its way in the 9.8 pre-screen. I do want that 9.8 on that book. Then we've got a Huntress #1. I actually don't think it's a 9.8, but I do believe it is a 9.6. I'm going to put this in the press and grade pile. Next up, I'm faced with a challenge. If you might remember, I already had one of these. This is Wolverine 88, and I do want the custom labels, but I don't like submitting the same book twice unless they are identical. And one of these looks like a 9.8, and the other one needs the press to hopefully get it to a 9.8. These 2 Spider-Mans are identical. They both look minty, so I don't mind submitting similar books. I think for this one, I'm actually going to separate it. I don't like having those cross paths. Then I'm going to get the custom label on this one, even though I have no luck with that book, but we're going to try for it. Custom label and press. Wish me luck on the 9.8 on that. Justice League of America #6. Love that book right there. We're going to march that on down to our vintage. Last few books here. We got a Green Lantern, which is going to be in our same exact pile that I thought they all look perfect, but they need a clean. And we got just a particularly sharp first full appearance of King Shark. No custom labels are available for this. We're going to put that in the 9.8 pre-screen. Then I've got the last book is going to be Batman 314, immaculate condition. We're going to try our luck with a very isolated early 80s pre-screen and press. So we actually have, looks like 7 different submissions in front of us. Now, whether I wait and get these out right now, or I want to find some more books and start adding to these piles, I'm not sure. I do know that in order to time everything right, people like to spend a lot of money near Christmas. I'm going to want to get these things out to CGC ASAP, so they stand some sort of chance in being back in time for the holidays. Hopefully, all in nice, new, awesome grades. Although this stuff is completely for the PC, so that doesn't matter. That probably means I can hold off on that one. But that pile, that pile, that pile, and that pile, as well as the vintage, do need to go. This one's going to take a while. My buddy does take some time with it, which is fine. And then the Green Lanterns, yeah. But that's how I do it, folks. I hope this was at least a little bit helpful. I will see you at the next video and keep on hunting. Make sure to come down to Sentiment Depot Antiques and Collectibles, where I'm set up with all of my comics, located at 238 West Delaware Ave, Pennington, New Jersey. Open every day except for Monday and Tuesday. Enjoy 10% off from Wednesday to Friday. See you there.